Hello, folks. Welcome to Our Life Now and Forever. This visual novel is about leaving your hometown and moving into a new home. As at least I think it's a visual novel, from what I can see in the previews. Welcome to Our Life Now and Forever demo. Oh, it's a demo. Bruh. And here I was expecting a full game. This is a preview that includes the beginning of the game and a preview of some later events. Expansions and improvements to the game will come out as time goes on. For example, the finished version will have partial voice acting. This demo doesn't have any voice lines. When the game is complete, the entire story will be playable from start to end for free. However, optional paid DLCs will be available to add in even more scenes. The very start is a brief tutorial that will be skippable in future. Blah 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 blah. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. This demo contains scenes from childhood and a brief look into adolescence. Okay. Alright, enough. No more. No more. Let's get to the game, man. Let's get to the game. Skip. Time to get to the game. What's this? The first thing you'll do in Our Life Now and Forever is design the appearance and basic details of your characters. You'll be able to select first name, last name. Okay. Customization. Okay, thank you. Thank you, game. Can I play now? Bloody hell, why is the tutorial so long? Whoa. Look at this. What is this? The tutorial is so long. I click like over 10 times. Man, what the hell is this? Okay, face type. We'll just go for the first one, I guess. Eyes. Does this even matter? I don't think this matters at all. Bro. Okay, whatever. Hair. Okay, I don't like this hair. I don't like the hair. Wait, what? Hair front. Hair back. What? Okay. Okay, we'll just put it there. Okay, then like this then. Who cares? It's a demo anyway, so it's a demo anyway. I don't know why I'm obsessing over this. What's this? Clothes? Neck accessories. This one, I guess. Well, what's this? Special clothing. At certain points in the story, you may want to dress your character in blah. I don't care. Okay. Ooh, Chinese clothing, or is that Vietnamese? Whatever. We'll put this. What is this? Neck accessories. Oh, this one replaces the thing. And this one replaces the thing. Okay, whatever. We'll put a hat. This is a hat. Oh. Okay, we'll put a ribbon then. Glasses. No glasses, please. Earrings. Nah. Bandages? Why do we need bandages? What? Why do we need bandages? Scars. No. Scars are ugly. No. Scar ugly. No, ugly, scar ugly. No, thank you, man, no thank you. Nah, no thank you. Freckles. Can I remove the... Never mind. Alright, let's go. Who cares? Height, average, tall, short. Average then. Body type. Oh, body type small, medium, large. What do you mean by this? Small, medium, large. Okay. And what's this? Dominant hand. Ambidextrous, of course. I want to be able to use both hands. So I can play with one hand, if you know what I mean. So I can play this game with only one hand, if you know what I mean. Nickname. Fucking Annabelle, I guess. I don't know. It just comes out my head. Height, average, I guess. Body type, medium, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Oh, there's a first and last name. Okay. Nickname Annabelle. Use nickname. It's Annabelle. First name Anna. Oh shit. What do I see is Anna. Annabella. Okay, let's just get this over with and get to the story. Hello from the tutorial game. Now you live with blah 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 blah. Don't care. Pronouns she, her. Okay, none of this bullshit. I'm a female. Female. Honorific. Miss Anna. That's me. How would you like people to refer you? Child, kid, daughter, girl. What all? Yeah, whatever. Time to go forward. Now that you got your own character, blah 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 blah. What's this shit? What's this? Skin, skin. Skin, what the hell? What's this? What title do you use for your parent? Mom, mommy, mama, will. Where's daddy? No daddy? What, do we not have any daddy? Mama. Hello, mama. Type your own term, mother. How do I do this? Oh, you can actually. What? Oh, you can actually name your own mother. Okay, I'll just put mom then. Who cares? We've got a lot of blah 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 blah. Tutorial. Who cares? I'm gonna skip all this. Choose a sticker. Coffee. Can I choose more than one? No, I can only choose one. I'll take the coffee then. I love coffee. A visual novel style layout without icons. Your comic. What? What's this crap? A visual with icons. Oh, is this how the text box? Okay, I'll put this then. I want to see my own face, cause I'm pretty. Okay. It looked like fall in Golden Grove. More than any place you'd seen before. It could be in your old picture books to show little kids what autumn was supposed to be. There weren't any green trees or bushes, but there weren't just bare branches yet. It was almost the same as normal. All that had changed were the colors: red, orange, yellow, and brown. Even the blue of the sky above your head seemed different than it did in summer. It wasn't as bright either, as though it had gotten tired of sparkling by this late in the year, or like it was even farther away from you now that you were in this place. The plants and sky didn't get this way where you used to live. Your thoughts continued to jump around while you stood there in a big circle of street at the end of the road. It was a weird path to you. It couldn't take you ahead or to the sides or anywhere else like most streets you've gone down. This one only came right here with those big houses. The view in front of you was something you only ever seen in photos before from stapled together papers that advertised the middle house being for sale. It had been a picture book to you until this day. Now you knew that it felt like fall here too, because it was cold outside. Chilly enough that you sometimes held your eyes closed for a few seconds longer than usual to try keeping your eyeballs from feeling like they were gonna freeze inside your head. This was a real place. The icy air surrounding you said, and you were really in it, and it was where you were going to stay. That was new. Your mom and you had lived in apartments before, and never for very long each time. That was until she'd gotten a big job in this not that big town and bought a big house. You wouldn't be going anywhere else for a long time. Now in that moment, you couldn't imagine being there forever. But that's just the way it was. The old tan house at the very end of the long round road was now your house, standing tall with two others by its sides. Those buildings were homes too, with their own people living inside, and those people in those ancient houses who were going to be your neighbors. Choice. It seemed okay to you. It made you felt coming there. You had given maybe your future. How much? There wasn't much. It seemed okay. You were super exciting. Okay, super excited. Nothing was gonna be boring anymore. Choice. No matter what, you'd keep looking out for your mom. And it was even better because you were doing this with your mom. This one then. Someone had to make sure she was okay. Anna, come on over and take a look. Oh, that was your mom's voice. You hadn't noticed she'd gotten so far. You wasted no time catching up in order to reunite with her. Off the cul-de-sac road and cutting across lines of grass and sidewalk, you reached the picket fence your mom had called from. The gate was unlocked. Unlike the other houses, in front of yours was a tiny gray stone walkway that led up to a couple little steps, and those steps led to the door. You walk along the private path. I nearly read that as you walk along the private part. Can you imagine how that sound? You walk along the private part of your house. Ho ho ho. You walked upon the private part of your house. And we are 10 years old. We are 10 years old. We are 10 years old and you're asking us the body type. Small, medium, or large body. What? Now, what is this? Did Epstein make the... Did Epstein secretly make this game? Body type... Body type, you get the option to choose small, medium, and large. Epstein, did you make this game? Like the hell? Like if you're age 10, your body type is definitely small. The fuck? Oh, weird. Oh ho ho, oh ho. You're raising a lot of eyebrows now, game. Careful. What's this? Log? What log? Oh. Right, okay. Then you hopped up the tiny stairs to join your mom. And there your mom was, standing at the edge of the porch, arms folded and waiting. She must have been moving around before because the shiny opal earrings she had on were twisting from side to side a little bit. You knew they were real opal stones because she told you before, when she first got them. She also told you a long time ago that her normal name, not Mom, was Opal. Her clothes were the colors of a cloudy day after rain had already come and gone. The kind of day that could be cold and bad, or really relaxing and comfy. It depended. You wonder which way she looked at it from. You didn't know. The rest of her, though, was so much more bold, especially the matching purpley cranberryness of both her hair and eyes. There weren't a lot of things out in the world with that color that could feel gloomy. Mom smiled at you and made you feel as soft and warm on the inside as your mom was on the outside. What do you think? It's a pretty place, huh? I've seen worse junk. It's okay, I hate this. You stared at her, you nodded eagerly, you shook your... It stinks, it's beautiful. Not hit. Her mouth stayed in the shape of a smile, but her eyes and eyebrows changed, bending in a way that made it seem like she wasn't really smiling, or it was some other kind of smile. She put a hand on one of the white painted pole things that kept the porch roof from falling down. Her fingers moved along it. Won't be too much longer. The real estate agent should be here to hand over the keys in a couple hours or so. Then it'll be official. We'll be the newest residents of Golden Grove. You shifted your weight from one foot to the other. This was a big deal to your mom. Her whole life was changing too. You hope it wouldn't be a mistake. You didn't want your mom to be sad. Well, you've seen the yard and the outside. You don't have to wait here the entire time. How about you go look around the rest of the neighborhood? She bent down, placing her hands on her knees in order to speak directly to you on the same level. It's a safe town, especially in this area. You'll be able to play freely out here. Okay. You covered your face with your hands, not wanting to go. Just a neighborhood? That wasn't exciting. You wanted to go everywhere. You perked right up at the suggestion. You jumped happily. Your eyes went wide in fear. You grasped at her pants? That didn't succeed in keeping her with you. Mom went back to her normal way of standing with her head up high and arms folded. It's okay to be nervous. That doesn't have to change. But sometimes doing something even when you're unsure is for the best. This is one of those times. You might find you're braver than you think you are. Just don't stray into any other streets today. You didn't care about rules, but you kept that to yourself. Gave a thumbs up. You grumbled about the restriction. I won't. Promise. That's not fair. Yes, Mom. Yes, Mom. That's not fair, Mom. You can't tell me what to do. You can't tell me what to do, Mom. I won't. Promise. Thank you. I trust you. With that, you let your gaze fall down to the steps. Across the path and to the gated fence, you took a half step in that direction. Mom pushed the air in front of her in a gesture to encourage you to go forward. You kept moving, putting one foot in front of the other. Step 1. Prologue. What's the prologue? Your shoes really squished into the dirt path when you crossed when you were down to the solid road. The smell of the grass and rain-softened ground, crisp though somehow also kind of musty, hung in the air, bringing a whole new year of school with it. You were going to be a 5th grader. It would be completely different from being a 4th grader. And not just because you'd be attending a new school, you'd be in the highest grade of the place. Maybe that was why your mom was so sure you could do this by yourself. You were growing up. But she was wrong. You weren't ready, no matter how many adults said so. Then, before you took one more step, there was a faint tap against your shoulder. It was barely stronger than the wind, but it was definitely something, and it was completely out of nowhere. It was a ghost, you deduced. Both your fists went up, you jumped straight in the air. You wonder what that was. It was kinda weird. You slowly glanced down to the right and the left, trying to get any idea of where the poke could have come from. No one was there. The end neighborhood was empty except for you. You would have settled on it being a mystery forever if you hadn't noticed there was a thing left behind from the encounter. Sitting there in between the muddy brown blades of grass was something new. Oh, it's an airplane. It's a paper plane. A paper plane? Who would throw this at a stranger, and why would they disappear after doing it? It could have been an accident, you know. Like those things fly really far. As you considered those questions, your gaze shifted back towards the right, to the side of the street where the tap came from. Whoever sent this to you had to have gone that way. You crouched down to grab it, wanting to get some kind of answer to what had happened. The paper didn't feel the same crinkly, crackly way most normal paper did. It was thicker, somehow almost like a piece of cloth. It was cottony. That wasn't the only part that stood out. The page was a tan color with dark brown lines. Not white and blue or white and black or something regular. More questions to add to the confusion. Where would paper like that have come from? You turned the paper airplane around in your hands and squinted your eyes keenly. There were pencil markings on the underside. The paper had scribbles, or maybe even letters. That was enough of a sign to undo the shape someone had put together. You pulled at the flaps of the plane and flattened it out between your palms as best you could. It was true, the paper plane had a message. Well, maybe. There are some words on it, but not a lot, and they were on different lines from each other. You read over each tiny part from top to bottom. Hello, go out, hide out, and then in the bottom of the corner was Annabelle. Your name. It had been addressed to you personally. There was no mistake that you were the one meant to get that plane. You scrunched up your face. A person who wrote stuff on a piece of paper, turned it into a paper airplane, threw it at another person, and the message they sent was that? This was something. I would have thought that too. This was something. It only kind of made any sense in that they were all real words, but none of them meant anything together, so you weren't sure what to make of it. I would have just thrown that paper away, thrown that paper in the trash, to be honest. Like, if you want to talk to me, why not approach me, man? Why you gotta do it like a pet? Like, who are you, Pennywise? Throwing a paper at my face, really? You had to tell your mom right now you were done exploring. It's time to go back to that house. You were going to get to the bottom of this. You just wanted to get back to looking around. Nah, forget that. If that guy wanted to meet us, they can do it right in our face. This wasn't gonna stop your exploration of the place. Maybe that's what they were hoping for. It was a message to scare you away. Too bad for them. You were gonna ignore it. Past the parts where the light shone through the clouds and the parts where it got darker, you went along taking in the new sights of what was now your neighborhood. The half circle of houses was out of sight by the time the normal sidewalk ended, and it really ended. Instead of connecting to another street with homes or stores, there was the car road behind you and a bunch of trees and plain ground in front. Going down the road would have to bring you to the rest of the town eventually, but you were sure that would be straying too far, like your mom warned against. That was okay, you had other options. Bending in between the dark trunks and bright leaves were two lines stamped out through the grass. They went in opposite directions. It was a crossroad. One led more towards where the neighborhood was, but back further right on the edge of where the forest started. The other went completely into the trees. A walking path for the people who lived here. You stood there at the start of this turning point in the woods in your life, feet poised to move over the stirring thicket floor. You knew exactly which one you wanted, but you didn't know where you were going. The first one, I guess. There was a path here that was definitely more worth trying than the other. You were sure of it. Something on the inside just told you so. You walk along the tree line to your right. You went down the walking path on the left. Go down the walking path, I guess. Once you went through the foresty path, you had truly entered the wild woods. Nothing else surrounded you any longer. Nature spread across the land, with the narrow dirt line and fence being the only sign anyone had walked in this spot before you. People were only visitors here. Golden and red leaves gently rustled against each other in thick clumps, with each tree's branches flowing into the others nearby. It was enough to keep the sky and sun out almost completely, but the leaves burned bright with the light basking over them from above. The foot-made passage continued to twist around up higher into the mountainside, farther than you could see. You were amazed. This was your kind of place. It was sorta nice. Your curiosity was piqued. It was so boring. You preferred the neighborhood over the woods. That was a creepy place. Awesome. It was dirty and icky. You regretted coming out here. The forest was frightening. You preferred the neighborhood, I suppose. With impatience growing over you like all the dumb moss on those trees, you forced yourself to push deeper into the thicket. The quiet bubble that existed here in the forest, away from the town, popped from a sudden, unnatural clatter. You froze. It was a whooshing, thumping stir and stirring up of the leaves, like something had crashed into them. You knew for sure that wasn't a wind. It had to be an animal or a person, and it came from right over there. You decided to just take a peek. You crouched lower and snuck off the path. It was harder to keep your footing on the slanted, untrimmed ground. When you reached a really tree-cluttered spot, you grasped at the branches and pushed them aside in order to poke your head through. You moved them the same way you'd open up a set of curtains, but it was a lot harder to do. The tiniest branches couldn't take the bend and snap from the pressure. You could feel the splintery ends of the plants scratch a little at your face and clothes. It wasn't as secretive of a check as you'd hoped it would be. On the other side of that tree line was still the woods, but kind of an empty part. There was a lot of open ground with no trees or bushes growing, and a ton of leaves that were gathered into piles. Past that clearing, the trees were back and even more closely pressed together than they were by the path. It was mysterious. There was nowhere easy to go, and nothing seemed out of place to you until... who's that? Farm boy? Is that a farm boy? Hello! There was a shout and a new whirlwind of leaves rushing through the air. From underneath one of the pile was a kid. Who was this person? That's all you thought. You liked the scarf. There were leaves stuck to their clothes. They had sparkly. You couldn't look away. Who was this? Who was this person? You couldn't hold the leaning forward position any longer and stumbled forward completely into open area. You stared at them and they looked right back at you as everything they'd thrown into the air gently drifted back down. Were you waiting for me? I know you scared me. Were you in there the whole time? No, I heard you coming. The kid kicked his legs up and down in the leaf pile that surrounded them. The crunch of dried plants finished the message. I went to hide just now so I could jump out when you got here. They talk about it like it was the obvious thing to do, and your reaction was confusing to them. What would you have done if I didn't come? That's so dumb. You didn't have anything else to say. What else would you have done? That got the stranger giggling. I would have gotten out after a while and played some more. Wait here! The jumping jack kid hopped again, but this time it was to get up off the ground. They dashed to the opposite edge of the open space, leaves scattering behind them, dropping out of their clothes and being kicked up by their steps. You were already wondering what was gonna happen next. From behind one of the tall, crooked trees, the kid began throwing sticks and other plant pieces around. They were uncovering a hidden treasure, a big brown bag. They had to use both hands to lift the pouch and get it over their head. The thick strap pulled tight under the strain of the weight attached to it. The line of their mouth looked just as strained. The stranger huffed when they released the bag from their fingers, letting it rest completely across their shoulder. You heard stuff bumping around inside from your position way over here. It was a really full pack. But it didn't slow that kid down. They ran back at full speed to meet you where you were. When they were in front of your face, they gave a wave and asked a question. Hi, are you a girl too? Yes, I am. How did you know? Well, yes, sometimes. You're a girl sometimes? What do you mean you're a girl sometimes? What? Kind of, not totally. You nodded. Yeah, of course. She sung her own praises in a chiming tone. Both girls. And all of a sudden, the leafy girl seemed to remember to introduce herself the way most people do. I'm Tamarak. Tamarak is a weird name. Yeah, it's a weird name. What the hell is a Tamarak? Sounds like a food. Sounds like an ingredient. Tamarak. Like tambourine. Cool. Thanks. A tamarack is a kind of tree. I like it a lot. So what's your name? You had an old library. My name is Annabelle. Oh wow, hi Anna. She greeted you with a finger spread wave of her hand, as sweetly as if you'd always known each other, and she'd done it 100 times. Do you like it? Your name? Yeah. Of course, I like my name, because I use it to haunt people. Annabelle. But people should call me Annabelle. Only my mom uses my name. But people sometimes call me Annabelle. But my friends sometimes call me Annabelle. This one, I guess. Oh, alright. Your ribbon is nice. Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. Why are you here? Where did you come from? Are you visiting? She piled on one question after the other, letting them bubble out like her laughter. I'm not some kind of tourist. My mom and me moved into this town. Tamarack gasped, her large eyes opening even wider. They were full of sparkles. Me too, I'm new. I moved to live with my Omi and Opa. They have a house and I'm gonna be there now. Are those your parents' name, Omi and Opa? Nope. Omi and Opa means granny and grandpa. It's German. Omi and Opa? Why did you move in? What about your parents? They're busy and not at home. I wouldn't go to school or do anything if I stayed there. So I'm gonna live with Omi and Opa right now. Weird? Do you feel bad? You weren't sure what to say. That sounds sad. Your parents seem lousy. Do you feel bad about it? No. I'm busy too. You are? Yeah. I've been here 5 days and it's really good. There's been so much out here. I probably won't be finished for a long time. Months maybe. This is my very first day in Golden Grove. Wow, that's barely different at all. We're matched. She furrowed her extra short eyebrows as much as she could as a new idea came to her. Hey, we're both girls and new. What if we're the same age too? I'm 10. You popped all open. You kept quiet. We are the same. Why do you even care? I'm 10 too. Hooray, same age forever. Happily, Tamarack held onto the worn strap of her big bag and bounced up and down in place. She'd run out of things to say and ask for now, you guessed, with the empty pause getting longer. You decided you might as well ask her about what happened. Tell me the truth, are you the paper airplane person? Hey, I got hit with a paper airplane. Did you throw it? Ah, yeah, you got it. I got it, that's for sure. Wow! She flung her arms up over her head in celebration, knocking her bag out to the side. It made a thump noise when it swung back against her. My aim is good. You blinked at her in disbelief. You'd done it. You found the mystery person who made that strange paper airplane message. You rubbed at your eyes. You couldn't believe the trouble she set off. You smiled to yourself shyly. Why would you do that? What was that message even? How come you sent me a note instead of talking to me? I didn't send a note. What is that supposed to mean? You never thought you knew what disbelief was a second ago, but hearing that made you feel it in ways you never had before. The stunned look on your face got Tamarack to add more. The paper I used wasn't mine. It was littered in the woods. I picked it up and put it in my bag because I couldn't leave it there on the ground. Sure. Then who wrote on that paper? Then when I saw you standing in the road, I just had the idea. I could do something fun with that garbage by making it a paper airplane for you. So you didn't write anything on it? Yeah, I didn't. Then who write the note? What's the point of sending a paper airplane if you don't have a message? Why would you use a piece of paper that had stuff written on it for that? Well, that part makes sense, but this is still confusing. Then who wrote the note? I don't know. That was all she said. Tamarack couldn't tell you anything more. The person who wrote that strange message for you was still a mystery. You hadn't found them even after meeting the paper airplane person. You were more determined than ever to figure things out. You were so disappointed. You felt creeped out. It was a weird note when you got it, but realizing that someone wrote about you without it being for you sent shivers down your spine. You squeezed your eyes shut super hard. It made your cheeks scrunch up. You wanted to shut out the whole world, but you could hear Tamarac's softened voice. Anna, what did the paper say? Was it mean? Not really. It was short, and all the parts were on different lines. The words were hello, go out, hide out, Annabelle. What? So weird. Who would write that? I know, that was what I was thinking. It's terrible. She took a big hop closer to you, a smile growing across her face as she landed. You should keep going and I'll come too. That paper isn't very old. It would have gotten wet or eaten by bugs if it was out there in the forest for a while. We could track them down and ask them what they were doing. Okay, you come. I was gonna ask that. This is something I need to do on my own. I'm sorry, I'm going by myself. Yeah, I could use more eyes for looking. Woohoo! Tamarack snatched up a nearby stick off the ground and directed the pointy end forward, the way you had come from. We're gonna find a litterer who puts weird things on paper. And so you started to walk along the brown fall brush again, now with your new partner in the adventure. Tamarack came along from behind you with eager skipping steps. She was right. You were gonna find that note writer person who knew your name. Question, can I save? Can I? Oh, there we go. I can save. Oh, there we go. Soon you reached the head of the path. You were at the crossroad once more, but you brought back knowledge, and this new girl with you. That's where we just were. You threw a thumb over your shoulder while walking ahead to show what you meant. And down there is just a road, but I haven't looked at that other way, on that side. You switched the arm you bent back to point straight ahead across the forked passage, directing Tamarack's gaze to the second dirt imprint. With her lips shut into a thick, tight line, she nodded rapidly and with seriousness. But only for a second, then she was perky again. She was having fun and only pretending like she wasn't always so silly. Yeah, okay, down the tree path for you and me. The decision easily made, you and her crunching footsteps started up again in unison. And still your journey continued. The path ended up being kind of a trick. You ran out of dirt to walk on after only a minute or two. And it became plain grass everywhere. Luckily, you only had to keep the following curved bend of brush and tree trunks that separated the forest from not the forest to know you were going where you had planned to go. Tamarack hummed a happy tune, not bothered by the change in the ground at all. You made eye contact and she started to speak words instead of music. It's good that we're looking this way. Walking down the road that goes to the town would have been a bad idea. Does your Omi and Opa have a rule against that too? I don't know. Oh, then how come? Her eyes went wide. Whatever news she had to give must be something awful. Anna, you had no idea cause you just got here, but I've seen it. The town here is bad. The buildings are probably new when my Omi and Opa were 10. It's old and dusty. Nobody is going anywhere or doing anything. They just live in this place, sit around and do that forever. You could never have fun there. She spoke gravely, giving the topic a moment of silence. After that, her spark came back, lighting up her features. But it's all okay, since it's right next to here. Tamarack hopped along, directing her stick to the tree line at your side. Everything in the forest is growing or dying or changing no matter what. You look at one spot, you look at a different spot, you look back at the spot and you'll see something new you didn't even notice before. She spread her arms across and up in front of your face playfully. It's magic. Oh. Then as you strolled even farther, you came into view. You almost didn't notice it at first. Stretching about as high as the trees and made it out of practically the same colored wood was a tower sort of thing. The bottom of it was mostly empty with thin stick poles at the corners and only one full wall. There were little fake rocks stuck to the boards on the side of the wall side, probably for people to climb on. Above was an actual floor with a slanty roof and railings around. Some ropes dangled off it in multiple places. The thought came to you that it had the same feeling as a tree house, except not in a tree. It definitely wasn't a real house. You might have found a local playground. A squealing whisper came right into your ear. Tamarack had noticed the wood thing too. "Let's go see it." She pulled away from the side of your head to march to the tower without waiting for you to even answer. Curiously, you moved closer until you were right in front, and that's when you came to the shocking realization that there was something up there at the top. Eyes squinted to try seeing more clearly, and your neck bent back so far your head might fall off. You could make out a lumpy pile. You just stood there looking. You gave the base of the tower a good shake with both hands. You shouted out. You grabbed at the parts sticking out to try climbing up there. You give the base a swift kick. This one? You use one hand to take hold of the side of the board wall and the other to grasp a fake rock attachment. Planting your feet firmly on the ground, you shove forward before leaning on your heels to pull back. Even with all your might pushing and tugging the base, you could only get it to creak but not move an inch. "Hello, hello, is somebody home?" The sudden sound of a clattering ruckus from inside the fort made you flinch in place. It was a scrambling, thudding noise that you knew came from movement. That lump stopped being just a lump. It shot up, bent right over the railing, peered down, and saw you. Who the hell is that? "Oh, look! A new friend! Yay!" It was another kid. Who were they? That's all you could wonder. You liked the fluffy hooded coat. That was the prettiest person you ever seen. You couldn't look away. They were really deep brown. They had a pointy hairline, you noticed. Who were they? The silent standoff of surprise played out between you and the stranger. Then all together, one half of their mouth, one of their eyebrows, and one of their hands shifted upwards. That lopsided pose they had and the fact they were at the top of the tower made them seem pretty in charge here. "Who are you? Why are you in my backyard?" Oh, they were in charge here. Who are you? Somehow they twisted their smile and leaned over the railing even more than before. "I'm the person who actually lives here, and I asked first." You didn't care if they had the high ground. You stood by your question. They were funny, you had to admit to yourself. They had a point. Fine. They closed their eyes, making peace with the situation. "I am hosting a visitor and will be respectful." After doing her own snooping, Tamarack skipped out from under the tower to join you in the stranger's eye line. She didn't miss a beat, waving and introducing herself to the new person. "Hiya, I'm Tamarack. Hey." At that, they pressed the palms of their hands hard against the railing, and then used it to kick their legs up over the sides and throw themselves right off the fort. Whoa! There was a powerful crunch and gust of air when the person hit the ground just a little to the side of where you were. They landed on their feet, crouching into a ball and making the hood of their jacket flip over their head from the impact of falling so far down. The person stayed like that for long enough that the leaves they stirred up settled quietly onto the grass again. Then the kids straightened themselves out with more poise than you could ever expected. Squared shoulders, chin up, and with one hand, they pushed the hood down over their back again. They were confident and knew how to show it. That's that. That was so cool. That seems dangerous. That was so dumb, dude. Could I try jumping off there? Anyone could have done that. It wasn't special. Could I try jumping off there? Maybe sometime. They took hold of the open sides of their jacket and flapped them out. shaking off bits of sticks and whatever stuff that got on it when they collided with the dirt. Anyway, they shifted their head around to get their hair back over their shoulders, the way it was before, and then jabbed a finger onto their own chest. I'm Mr. Qiulin. Qiu and Lin. It means both of Qiu's arms spread out openly, gesturing to the wide world all around. And that right there, folks, is how you know that I'm a native Chinese speaker, right? Because most of you Westerner will pronounce that as Q. That's actually Chew. You know, like Chew. Autumn, nice to meet you. What are your whole names? Through chuckles, Tamarack put on a fake voice that was deeper than her normal one, and probably meant to sound mature. I'm Miss Tamarack Bauman. A tamarack is a tree. That introduction got a thumbs up from Chew. Cool, Miss Tamarack Bauman. You didn't say the sheriff, but shouldn't you come after the Q? I already knew Chew means autumn. It's Chinese. You're not a mister, you're a kid. Why did you say it weird like that? My name's Anna. Great, but what's your whole name, Anna? Annabelle. Miss Annabelle. That was perfect, Miss Annabelle. Oh, but I've got a nickname that my friends sometimes call me. Annabelle. Cool, I've got a nickname too. It's Autumn. Cause like I said, that's what my name means. You can use it if you wanna. Alright. Wait, and also, how old are you two? We seem pretty similar to me. Me and Anna are the same. 10. Chew slapped her? I remember previously you referred Qiulin as her. Why now it changed to his? What the hell is this? Chew slapped his fingerless glove hands against the front of his chest to show just how taken aback he was. Whoa, so am I. Nobody else close by was exactly 10 before, and now there are 2 more. Wow, we came at just the right time. You did. And you two are gonna grow up someday, and I'm gonna grow up too, but that's never gonna stop us from being the same age. Cool. Okay, that was fine to you. But the talk you were having ended with a clear clap from Chew to bring it to a close. Now that we're people who know each other, I still want to hear what you were doing. I lived my whole life in this town, in this neighborhood, in that house, and I've never seen either of you anywhere. There's gotta be something going on. Tamarack's wide, knowing gaze met yours. You understood what you had to do. Well, you reached right into your pocket and presented a mystery paper to Chew, wanting your own explanation. But before you even said anything about it, Chew whisked with a tight grimace. He looked as stiff as the wood tower behind him, just like that. He stammered and babbled, and pointed his finger all around the space that was sort of in front of you, until the word finally came to him. A sorcerer! What? No, wait! Chew threw his hands higher towards his shoulder, that sudden movement making sure nothing interrupted his train of thought. You're a thief! That's why you're here, to rob my house. That's right, I'm gonna steal all your stuff. No, you were right before. I'm magic. I'm a sorcerer and a thief. You didn't know what to say to that. Why would I let you know if I was here gonna steal your things? No, you were right before. I'm magic. Sorry, I'm not gonna be distracted. Once I see something, I don't unsee it. I'm like a hawk. Do you really think I'm a robber? He got all fluttery with his laugh and the waving of his fingers. No, you're just a kid, but you've got some good tricks. Chew tucked one of his hands inside his jacket. He moved it around in there, humming the whole time. There was some kind of secret pocket or compartment in that coat. Aha! Just as you thought, when he removed his hand, he was grabbing onto something. It was a little notebook. The edges were bent up and crumbly, probably from being squished a lot of ways and a lot of times. And there were papers sticking out in weird ways that made you think they weren't even attached to the book anymore. They were just smashed between other pages to keep them in place. But the thing you noticed the most were the colors, tan with dark brown lines. Tamarack squealed, bounding closer to you. She and you had the same idea at the very same time. It was a paper from the airplane. Chew flipped open the book, tapped in a slow, considering rhythm at the front page with the bare back of his knuckles, and said what you wanted to know without you having to do anything. That's my special paper with my notes on it, but it's not in my notebook. It was in your pocket. You must have done the thing that's the sleight of hand, right? Sleight of hand? That's what you did to snatch my stuff in the blink of an eye while I was standing right there. So you're a magician or a pickpocket. That's all it could be. He shifted on his feet, putting one hand on his hip and using the other to make a waggling gesture with the notebook. Chu was really confident in his accusation against you. Can you show me how to do it? But the wavy motion Chu did was too much for the old notebook. It bent in half upwards and downwards with the momentum of its owner's arm. Some of the papers slid out, they drifted to the ground lightly, the same way leaves fell from trees. You stared right at them, sitting there freely like that. Chu didn't. You lost it, Chu. You're right, I don't know how the paper ended up in the woods. You were being sarcastic. Maybe you just lost the paper and that's how Tamarack found it. Yep, you dropped it. Nah, I never lose things. He said it absent-mindedly, still not paying attention to the papers cluttered around his feet. They were pretty much just waiting to blow away in the wind at that point. You decided on his own. Bashfully, you pointed a finger at your jerk. You wanted to tell Chu about the papers, but were too shy. You hoped Chu never noticed what happened. It'd be funny. I think you might want to look down. Chu's eyes widened. He lifted the notebook over his head and twisted his feet outwards more to fully clear his view of the grass below. Finally, he spotted the missing pages. Whoa, thanks. In the middle of talking, he dropped to his knees to scoop up the loose papers. It only took a second for each one to be gathered. He leaned off his knees onto his butt and made a little oof sound. From there, he got his feet against the ground while pushing up with his hands still clutching the paper so he could stand again. With that successful rescue mission done, Chu delicately flipped through the notebook, inserting the loose papers along the way between different pages. He went all the way to the end. Then Chu's complete book was pressed shut once more. Hey, that really helped, Anno. A beaming smile directed into your face almost had you covering your eyes. But before that happened, he looked away. Chu's twisted to the side to better rummage inside the hidden pocket of his jacket. He made super sure that the entire stack of papers made it back safely this time. You heard a sigh of relief. In an even swooping move, Chu tilted his head back over his shoulder to reveal his face again. The bright expression from before was completely gone. He had that smirk again. So did you see that? I don't lose anything. Are you kidding? You lose stuff all the time, you just find it again sometimes. It was only because of me. Next time I'm not gonna tell you about it. Okay. Good for you. Whatever, Chu. Your cheeks got hot from embarrassment. Next time I'm not gonna tell you about it. Smiling, Chu leaned a lot more forward, all the way onto his tippy toes. He stayed up and put his hands against his chest like it was nothing. You didn't know how he stood on them so well. I don't know about that. You seem really nice. You'd help me out again, thanks. Chu's fun with your reaction came out as a set of snickers. His cheeky mood drifted away once those were done. Chu twisted to the side to better rummage inside the hidden pocket of his jacket. He made sure that the notebook made it back to its normal spot. When he tilted his face back towards you, he was quiet and thoughtful. This is very mysterious, My paper vanished and 2 new kids appeared in my backyard. All out of nowhere. I don't get it. Chew, I'm your new neighbor now. I moved into the middle of the house on the street. Oh, the new neighbors. That's right. That's you. It makes so much sense. Except for her. His growing excitement scrunched into confusion. Chew brought a hand to his chin while also pointing squarely at Tamarack with the other one. I'm pretty positive there was only going to be one new kid moving in. Unless you're Anna's mom. Tamarack was completely tickled by the idea, giggling and covering her mouth with her hands. She didn't do a good job at stopping any of the laughter from getting out. No, I'm not a mom. I moved in with my Omi and Opa. Omi and Opa? I've never heard of that. Is it another language? Uh-huh, it's German, and they're German. Cool. Thanks, but they had already had a house here. It's the gray one. Whoa, there's a granny who lives there and the guy that's her husband. That's your Omi and Opa? I think so, probably. Omi has really long hair, Opa has short hair, and some of it is on his face. Omi and Opa means granny and grandpa. Yeah! Chew bobbed his head up and down with great understanding. Granny and him have a kid now? Huh? Wow. Then Chew shook his head from side to side, flopping dark brown strands of hair around, trying to sort out his thoughts. Okay. I'm gonna save here. I'll return to this game tomorrow, okay? How long has it been? It's been 56 minutes. It's been 56 minutes of non-stop reading, and my throat is starting to get sore. Alright, from all this reading. Alright guys, see you in the next part where we'll continue where we left off. Until then, see you in the next video, okay? I gotta go take a break now.